Assalamualaikum everyone. In this video, I'm going to share with you about learning objective and learning outcomes. So basically, this video consists of explanation about learning objective, learning outcomes, and I'm going to touch a little bit about biology teaching and learning in Finland. So, let's move to learning objective. So, in 2020, Sparrow stated that learning objective is the instructor's aim for creating and teaching their course. It usually viewed from the instructor's perspective, meaning learning objective represent what does the instructors want students to accomplish. Hence, the learning objective for biology curriculum represents the aim of Ministry of Education Malaysia for students to accomplish. According to the Content Organisation of Curriculum Specification Biology Form 5, biology curriculum is organized around teams. Each team consists of various learning areas. Each of consists a number of learning objectives. For your information, one learning objective might have 2 or more learning outcomes. So, here I want to share with you steps in writing learning objective. Learning objective always start with the phrase, at the end of this chapter, you will be able to. Then, connect step 1 with an action which communicates the performance by the learner. For example, after the phrase, at the end of this chapter, you will be able to connect with, first, understand the importance of having transport system. So these are the main components of learning objective. We are using ABCDs to write learning objective. So first, A stands for audience. Who does the outcome pertain to? For example, biology textbook Form 5 provide to students Form 5 students who choose biology as one of the elective subject. So, the audience of the learning objective in the textbook is the students. So, second is B stands for behavior. What do you expect students to know or be able to do? So, for behavior, we can refer to Bloom's taxonomy. As you know, Bloom's taxonomy consists of how many levels? Yes, 6 levels. So, the lowest level of Bloom's taxonomy is remember, followed by understand, followed by apply, analyze, evaluate, and the highest level of Bloom's taxonomy is create. Okay, so the next one is C stands for condition. Under what condition or circumstance will learning be demonstrated? And last one is D stands for degree. How much will be accomplished? How well will the behavior need to be performed and to what level? Okay, so here are the example of learning objective in the textbooks. As you can see, So here are the example of learning objective. Graduating students, referring to the audience, will be able to apply, refer to behavior. 5 major behavioral theories, refer to degree. Integration of the health performance plan, refer to condition. Okay, so here are the list of learning objective in Chapter 1, Transport System. Okay, next, let's move to learning outcomes. Okay, contrast to the learning objective, Sparrow stated that learning outcomes are the answer to those questions. You can refer to the previous slide. Learning outcomes are specific, measurable knowledge and skills that the learner will gain after taking the course. In 2015, Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board defined student learning outcome as what students are able to demonstrate in terms of the knowledge, skills, and attitude upon complete the program. In developing the learning outcomes, knowledgeable professional in the field will generate answer to a few questions like, what should students be able to do upon graduating? What knowledge, skills or abilities should the students demonstrate? And how will students be able to demonstrate what they have learned? So you can see that learning outcomes are more wide. Okay, in order to come up with strong learning outcome, we need to follow SMART checklist. Okay, so S stands for specific. Learning outcome focus on a specific category of the student learning. M for measurable. The learning outcome produced from assessment actionable data that can be collected to measure student learning. Meaning, when the learning outcome is measurable, the teachers able to know whether the students understand or not what they have taught in the classroom. So, next is attainable. Attainable is another word of achievable. Okay, learning outcomes is able to accomplish or achieve something. So next is R for relevant. Answer, will it drive the student forward? Does it align with the mission? And lastly, T for timely. Establish a time frame. Describe activities that serve as benchmark towards achievement. Okay. Now, you can see the difference between weaker outcomes and strong outcomes. For strong outcomes, outcome verbs are sharp, clear, and specific. For example, the verbs used is calculate, describe, and analyze. So, when the students see this learning outcome, they will able to know what they will learn after completing the subtopic. Next, strong outcomes also demonstrate varying level of thought. This level we can refer to Bloom's taxonomy, and I will show you the example later. And the strong outcomes also readily observable, demonstrable, and measurable. So here are the list of learning outcomes for learning objective number 2. As you can see, before I show you the list of learning objective in chapter 1 transport system, right? So here are the learning outcomes for learning objective number 2. Okay, let's analyze either the learning outcomes inside the textbooks is good or not. So, we will check whether it is good or not by referring to SMART checklist. So first, you clearly see that outcome verbs are sharp, clear, and specific. As you can see, first example, the learning outcome use word state, and the second example, the verbs used are the verbs used is compare and contrast. Next, the learning outcomes have varying levels of thought. Just now, we already see the characteristic of strong outcomes, right? So, here it is. For the first example, the level used is knowledge. And the second example, the level is analysis. It shows that learning outcomes inside the textbooks have various level of thought. Okay, lastly, you can see that the learning outcomes are observable and measurable. For the first example, it stated that state the 3 components of circulatory system. For the second example, it stated that compare and contrast the circulatory system in the following: human, fish, and amphibian. The learning outcomes shows that it fulfills the ART. So, SMART is all done. So you can see that learning outcomes inside the textbooks are good. Okay, now we're going to touch a little bit about biology teaching and learning in Finland. So, as you can see, I already provide to you the link. First link will link you to the video in the YouTube about the environment science classroom in Malaysia, and another link will link you to the video about the environment of science classroom in Finland. Make sure you watch the video, okay? So, as you can see, in Finland, practical work and demonstration activities as an integral part of teaching and learning science subject. As you can see in the video, the teachers brings the heart to the classroom to show to the students about the structure of the organ. And based on the demonstration and explanation by the teachers, the students able to realize that smoking is bad for their health. So, according to the surveys reported, the majority students in Finland agree that they are given opportunities to explain their ideas and express their opinion about the topics. And in classroom, a class debate or discussion occurs in some lesson. As you can see, the teachers always encourage students to share their opinion and thought so that they are free and they are free to tell the teachers about their ideas. So, yeah, the teachers also actively present, demonstration and frequently explain how science ideas can apply to a number of different phenomena and for understanding the world at large. You still remember the teacher told us that most of the students in her classroom, after the end of the class, they come to her and tell her that they will stop smoking. That's a good one. Meaning that learning outcomes in the classroom is achievable because at the end the students realize the importance of taking care of their lung to stop smoking and many more. Okay, so that's all from me. If you are having any question or anything that is not clear, you can freely ask me in the Telegram. That's all from me. Bye.